shot of her when she wasn't looking. Take that, sweetheart. There's one by land. I'll help you, Tenley's mother had told her. Get your foot in the door, her father had told her. You already love computers, honey. Her mom had persisted, trying to brush her only daughter's bangs out of her eyes. You'll love this, too. But here she was, far from loving it, dying. Tenley Siskel's eyes were glazing over. Completely dying. There was no way she could do this for much longer, none, let alone for the whole summer. She'd been literally imprisoned here in the City Hall traffic surveillance room for a full solid 3 weeks now. She almost hadn't managed to drag herself in here this Monday morning. All she could think about was lunch, and then how forever it was until 4:30. The clock was literally not even moving. Tenley eyed the others in the monitoring center. Losers. Eyes on their screens, so intent on making sure not one little thing in their assigned sectors of Boston escaped their scrutiny. If she had a choice, she'd never set one foot in this place again. Maybe after she quit, she'd stand down there on the sidewalk and wave up at the surveillance cameras. She pictured it, could almost see it, her giving the finger to Loser City on video. That'd be hilarious. They didn't even save the digital field, so they couldn't prove she'd ever done it. Hilarious. She understood Mom thought she was doing a good thing by finagling this 3-month job for her. You needed about 0 brain level to do it, and she was only a fill-in while the zeros who worked here took turns having their pitiful summer vacations. And not too deep down, Tenley felt bad about complaining. Mom and Dad, too, had enough to think about. The green digital numbers on her monitor proved it had been 1 minute since she'd last looked. Her ears felt weirdly light because her mother warned her City Hall frowned on piercings. She adjusted her cardigan, buttoned carefully over her white t-shirt. As long as no one could see what was printed on it, they couldn't frown on that. She'd roll up the waistband of her skirt the second she got out of here, but this was like her disguise. She wore it during the part of her life she simply had to endure. Tenley started her video scan again, beginning in the upper left like her supervisor had shown her on the first day. Ward Dahlstrom had explained in his boss voice that she had Sector 1, the perimeter of City Hall. Like that was some huge whoop. If her mother was such a big shot around here, why couldn't she get Tenley a more interesting job? But at least she didn't have to talk to anyone. Sometimes she hated to actually speak to people. You had to face them, watch them looking at you. You'd know what they were thinking, all critical and worried and smothery and curious, just dying to ask you a question. Camera 1 pointed northwest, the pedestrians on Cambridge Street going to lunch, which of course she couldn't do for another 27 minutes since Dahlstrom had given her the last lunch on the schedule, jerk that he was. She stared at the screen, at the boxy green Camera 1 symbol blinking in the upper right corner, at the video pixels degrading around the edges, fluttering with its attempt to keep up with reality. But nothing. The camera's eye saw nothing she was supposed to watch for. No traffic jams, no disabled cars, not even a jaywalker. A world where nothing happened. Like a metaphor for her life. These days, at least. Surveillance fatigue. She'd read about it, and she could totally see how it happened. She was already sick of watching these screens, cars and traffic lights, buses and motorcycles. People on camera were mostly blurs. If the light was exactly right, a face might come into focus, but only for a fraction of a second, just long enough to be annoying. Her stomach grumbled, the last of the morning's double toasted cut in half and then a half again the other way with extra cream cheese, sesame bagel having long worn off. She could not believe she couldn't bring coffee to her computer console. How was she supposed to live without coffee? Dahlstrom had said all liquids were verboten, a fireable offense. She looked up verboten. Fired over forbidden coffee. Might be worth it. Camera 2. She had to focus. Southwest, the brick expanse of City Hall Plaza. Little makeshift stands selling cupcakes and bunches of flowers and homegrown vegetables. Blah, blah, blah. What if, like in one of her games, a huge flame-spewing dragon stomped its way across the... She blew out a breath, willed herself not to look at the clock. Camera 3. Nothing happening. Changed the screen. Camera 4. The monolith of the JFK Federal Building. Fuzzy pedestrians. Nothing ever happened.